Hi everyone, welcome to my latest video review. This is another comparison video, this time on the space figures versus the turbo figures. However, before I continue, there's something I forgot to show you guys with the Lightning Silver Ranger. That's the comparison with the 90s figure and the Lightning figure. So let's get that started. So I'm just gonna grab the figure right here. And of course, he's entangled with the Nintendo Switch accessories. Let me get those out of the way. And here's the 90s figure. Now, there were two different 90s figures. There was a shiny version that you could only get with the Mega Pack that had all 6 Astro Rangers, and there was the doll version, which I have, that was the individual released version. So I'm going to quickly show you guys before I continue on with the review. So this is what both of them look like. So right away you guys can tell, because the 90s figures are smaller, like the Lightning figure towers over it, and the shade of silver that they used is so much more lighter, and it looks very appropriate because that's how the Silver Ranger looked versus this one here, because he looks more like a gray ranger than silver. Of course, this one is a basic figure, so yeah, and this is made for more articulation. You can do so much more with this figure. Let me show you guys like a comparison shot. Honestly, I like both of them. I'm not going to choose one or the other because it is unfair to put one against the other, because this was in 1998 and this is of course like this year. So for their time, like, both of the figures did their job really well. Only thing I'll give points for this figure is because the Astro Silver Ranger never came with the Super Silverizer. You had to get like a different Silver Ranger for those accessories, and that was the really muscular big Silver Ranger. Anyways, now that I have that out of the way, let's continue with the actual video review. So starting with this review here, I have Space Rangers on the right and the Turbo Rangers on the left. And if you were to look at both of the Ranger teams, definitely like Space would get it because they look so beautiful. Because the Turbo Ranger figures, this set that I have, they're action feature figures. So you have like yellow and especially blue and red as well, where their hands are just like all over the place, so it doesn't look great for display. Even with their weapons on them, it just looks very awkward. So definitely Space would get it. And let's look at articulation. So with the action feature figures, I guess you guys are already aware that each individual figure has different articulation, especially with the arms. Like, let me show you guys. So this is red here. So with red, you could move the hands up and down, side to side. There's not really much you can do with the arms there, and you can kind of rotate the glove. And this is how the arms stay. You can't really push it inwards anymore. This is how it is. But with blue, his arms are sticking up all the way up, like so. Mind you, these are also new figures, so it's not like it's old and the joints have worn down. So yeah, like you can do side to side, up and down, but it just stays up like that. And yeah, so that's blue. And the leg you can move. Well, the legs are pretty much standard for all of them. You move it at the knee joint, and so that's pretty much it. And articulation, their heads really don't move. That's it for the heads. For blue, he also had an extra articulation where you could kind of move it around the torso like this. And here's green. Green is my favorite out of all the figures because he's an actual standard figure where his hands are to the side. up, down, side to side. He doesn't have some weird articulation going on, which is awesome. The leg too. And you can also move his head, which is awesome. Green had a really little weird thing going on, but they camouflaged it really well because he had a cannon you could put on his chest, so he had a little thing here. But he's easily my favorite because, as you can tell, he looks so much more better. Now with the girls, like Pink, these skirts are customized, but even without the skirt, you couldn't really move the legs that much. They're very restricted. And the arms, same thing as the guys, up and down, side to side. And one thing I didn't like is Pink. Her hand was like stuck in a karate chop motion, which I didn't like because there's not too much options when it came to putting weapons on her hands. So that's Pink. You couldn't really move her. And even the arm here, it's like a spring-loaded arm, so you kind of had to play around with it for it to stay back. And Yellow, oops, her leg really can't move too much. The arms, you can't even really rotate. She has the worst arms, like just up and down, side to side. Not much you can do. So Yellow and Blue are easily the worst figures, and getting them to stand is not easy either. So let me just put them back. So for articulation, Turbo definitely is the worst. Yeah, obviously, as you can see, they can't stand that well. Let me just try one more time and then I'll show you guys the Space Rangers. Oh, and here's the Phantom Ranger. I almost forgot to show you guys. So the Phantom Ranger is also one of my favorites, where he doesn't have too much going on. He just is a regular figure. Move the hand up and down. That's about it. You can even move it side to side. The leg, you can move it up, down. At the knee joint, it's very restricted, its articulation. But I'll take it any day over, like, say, Yellow or Blue with the arms protruding out. So that's Phantom Ranger. So hopefully they don't fall over. Yellow is the worst for standing. It took me a while to get her to stand. Here we go. So the Space Figures, they finally got rid of this action feature for Space, and because of that we got regular figures, which is awesome. Like the legs, you can move it, the arms are to the side normally, it's not like sticking out, so up, down. Yeah, you couldn't really move it too much. The Astro Figures you could, like here I actually have an Astro figure right here. I actually move its head because it didn't have the Lightstar feature. Because he's had the Lightstar feature, you couldn't really move it. Yeah, so Space is easily wins. Even with the females, you can move their legs freely, which is awesome. They had an added feature, the females, you could like move their legs 360 like so. I don't know why they didn't give that to the males. So, yeah, definitely for articulation, the males, sorry, not males, I meant to say the Power Rangers and Space Figures definitely win over, because I believe action feature figures are one of the worst, because it really destroys the figure, because you can't really do much with it. So it's accessory time. So let me show you guys their accessories, starting with Space, because their accessories are my favorite. So one reason why I love the Space Ranger accessories is that Bandai gave us the option to make all the different combinations from the TV show. Like here's the Quadro Blaster, and here's the Spiral Saber, in well, it's not really booster mode because booster mode had these two other like prongs that were sticking out. It was just this basic spiral saber inside the gun, and you could do that pretty much with all the ranger weapons. Like you could do that with all of their individual weapons, just really cool. And even the Astro Blaster, it disconnected into two different guns, just so awesome. And in addition to that, it didn't even stop there. They gave us these weapons that that never appeared in the TV show, but were really cool. This is what the Yellow Ranger's weapon looked like. Here's Pink Ranger came with a shield and another plastic piece that's like a sword, I guess. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. And this is Blue Rangers. One thing I liked is that you could separate them like the lunar lands. Or sorry, power lands. Sorry, that's what the original Blue Rangers weapon was called. So this you could separate them and put them back together. Now I don't have the accessories for Red, but his was really awesome. It was like two long staffs and two long red staffs, and at the end it had the spiral saber's drill on each end. I really liked that, and I do have a new Black Ranger to show you guys. This is what his weapon looked like. It looked like a really huge lunar lance, just really awesome. Like the other Blue Ranger's weapon, you could disconnect it and put it back together, which is really cool. So that's the accessories for Space. Now let's look at Turbo. Now, I don't have the accessories for Pink and Yellow because Pink and Yellow were loose when I got them. It's super hard to find them, but as you guys are aware, I did a review for the Turbo pack, which had the guys in them, so that's why I have the weapons for the guys. So Blue Ranger came with these random weapons that clip onto his arms, the sword, and whatever this is supposed to be. They all came with the Auto Blaster and their sword. That's what it looked like. And Red Ranger came with these two staff weapons. His weapons are my favorite. I love long swords. It just looks really cool. And then Green Ranger came with like a mini version of his weapon. There's also a button on the back. You just push it and yeah. It's not very effective. I don't know if I didn't put it in properly. Let me try. Okay, so let's try. I don't think it was in properly. Yeah, yeah. I guess it's pretty cool. Again, I don't really care for the action feature because it takes away from articulation from the figure. That's what it looks like. Yellow Ranger, I cut it off, but Yellow Ranger had these two like hooks that were attached to her that you could put it on her belt. But when you push it, like the hooks would come out, I guess. But I removed it because it actually, there's a little hole in her arm which you can see. That's where the hook came from, and I didn't want two hooks dangling from the figure. It just did not look right, so I cut it off. I don't have the weapons for the Phantom Ranger because he was also loose. Because there's no way I'm spending hundreds of dollars. Like I got lucky. I got all the Turbo Rangers for like $60-ish, which is a steal. But they came with like no weapons. Like then I ended up getting the Turbo pack, which had blue, red, and green for about I think was it 100? I can't even remember. I think it was like $70. Reason being is because my loose Turbo guys could not stand. Like the joints were so gone that the legs would just fold in when I would try to get them to stand. So yeah. But with Turbo, they did release a mini Turbo Ram, which is this, where you had all the different Ranger weapons, which is really cool. I love the mini Turbo Ram so much. Like you had the bow. Honestly, I'm so sorry, but I don't remember the Turbo names. I remember the Car Ranger names. Like Bumper Bow, I think it was, and Muffler Guns. And so like this is what it looked like. this Blue Ranger's weapons. And I think Red's was called Fender Sword. That was the Car Ranger name. This is what it would look like. And of course the Turbo Rangers love to fall over. Oh. Come on, don't. Oh, come on, there we go. Now all of them fell over. Yeah, I don't have the best of luck. Like, this is the second time they fell over while doing the video review. That's another thing that sucks with action feature figures. Because of their action feature, sometimes they can't stand properly. There we go. And here's Green Ranger's weapon. These were specifically made for the Initial Turbo line, because I have the Shifter figures. I love the Shifter figures because this was actually the first line where Bandai gave male and female specific bodies to the figures. I never cared for the other line. I can't remember what it was called, but they all looked like football players. So these weapons were specifically made for that line, not for this. So that's what Green Ranger's weapon looks like. Here's yellow. I mean, you could put these weapons on them, but it looks really awkward on them. Look, let me show you yellow. This is what yellow looks like. It looks really weird because their arms are like spread out. And green, let me show you green. One problem with green, however, is that so the cannon sometimes is a little bit too heavy for the figure, that he has a hard time standing. So this is what green looks like. Let me see if by some miracle I can get him to stand. I don't think so. Actually, there we go. He actually stood. And then Red's weapon, the sword. The weapon is weird on Red because there's no elbow articulation to fold the arm. So it's just straight out like that. And then pink, here's the bow. Of course, you can only use this arm because the other arm is destroyed because of karate chop action. And blue, on the thing that sucks about blue is the pegs on his arms are way too big to fit inside the weapon. So the only way you could really put his weapon on is just have it hang on his arm, if anything. Like, I don't even know how it could be achieved. Like, that, I guess. But yeah, these weapons do not go in his arm, which really sucks. Like, I tried so many different ways. I even have like an old Blue Range where I removed the peg, but even if you remove the peg, it really doesn't do much. You can't. Yeah, I mean, you could do like that, I guess. It looks really weird. Yeah, so those are the weapons for the Turbo Rangers. Definitely for accessories, Power Rangers in space. Like, their accessories are really awesome. And for features, like, of course, you have the action feature for each of the figures, Turbo Ranger figures. And the Space Ranger figures, they have a Lightstar feature. I think only my Yellow Ranger works. The rest, the batteries are fried, so just show you on yellow. And that's actually something they used in the TV show, so I give them props for that. So weapons and features, Space Rangers, so hands down. And I actually don't have Silver Rangers accessories to show you guys because this is the Hero version that I got. Hero figures did not come with any weapons. So yeah, so that's my little comparison video. And if you guys are interested in getting these figures, because these are 90s figures, they are actually going for a hefty price on eBay is the only place you can really get them. I haven't seen the pink shifter figure in a long time. It's a really hard figure to get because that's the only figure that Power Rangers Heroes. That's actually a toy line that was released around I want to say Dino Thunder or Ninja Storm. I can't remember. But they re-released all the Power Ranger figures, and they chose the shifter figures for Turbo, but they never released Pink, so that's a very rare figure. Um, yeah, so if you can find them, they are very expensive. Even the Space Lightstar figures, you will find them easily in on eBay, but yeah, be prepared to pay. They are very expensive, and yeah, so definitely the winner, hands down, is Space. Like the figures look amazing together. Like they're very standard. They don't have like arms or joints all over the place. Weapons, awesome. You can easily put them on their arm. Stand perfectly still. You don't have to worry about them falling. Or like Turbo, like the whole team fell over so many times. Um, and aesthetically, they look beautiful. So, and features as well. I love the Lightstar feature because it's even though it wasn't used that much in space. Because I'm a huge Mega Ranger fan. Mega Ranger, they used it almost all the time, and I love it. So definitely Space wins. That's my video review, I guess. And if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. And please like and subscribe. That really does help. Thank you and have a great, great day.